everybody. I tell you, this is one of those things that I was waiting to hear and just see where this was going to continue. That Gen Z is struggling with their hiring, which no one's surprised by. However, we're going to be looking at some from Fortune today on Yahoo Finance here, where they're talking like it isn't actually all to do with AI. There's other aspects too that, are just something to keep in mind. It's as with most things in life, it's never just one thing. And that's kind of what we're going to be chatting about here. Again, for those who don't know, my name is Ryan Houck. I'm here live on YouTube pretty consistently, just sharing information I share with my clients, and I hope to earn your subscription. So, yeah, it's been a weird one here. Working from the house today. I've got some, life stuff going on. I got a cracked windshield we got to get taken care of. So, I want to be able to handle that and still come and be able to chat with you guys on this stuff. So, let's get into it here. Top economists and Jerome Powell agree that Gen Z's hiring nightmare is real, and it's not about AI eating entry-level jobs. So the dramatic rise in unemployment among Americans under 25, especially recent graduates, has become one of the most troubling economic headlines of 2025. It is for young men and women who are graduating. It is one of the worst times to be able to find work and be able to get that. But they're not alone. There are seasoned individuals that are on the other side of the spectrum that are, maybe want to work another 5, 7, maybe even 10 years. They're struggling to find work as well, to be able to, if they're in a job, be able to leave it, go somewhere else. And those individuals who are in there, looking for a maybe career change in their mid 40s, early to mid 40s, are struggling mightily in order to find work. And again, something we've talked about on the channel too here. This is not no one should be surprised by this, that during a time of great, and I mean great, transition in what's happening within the economy, right? When new technology comes in, you're going to have this. But there's all this other stuff that's been going on too. At the same time that we have, AI coming in, which is part of the deal here, which we have large language models that have come on. We have a, what's the other shift there I want to make sure I cover here? So we got AI, and then there's also the demographic shift that's occurred, right? One of the things we talk about, like in my county where I'm at in West Michigan, is that from the change between where we're at in, let's say, the 80s to where we're at now in 2025, in the 80s, for every seasoned citizen, right? So we got, seasoned citizen over here, 65 or older. There were four, teenagers or kids or whatever, people under 18. Right? So you had this entire mass of individuals to be able to do work and have all these things. That's flipped now, where there are, for every one senior citizen, there's 0.71 teenagers, kids for kids. So that demographic shift into itself is causing all sorts of other problems as well too. So, but let's take a look here as we go through this. So for many Gen Z workers, struggle to land a job can feel isolating and fuel self-doubt. Frustration recently got some high-level validation. Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, he brought this up during the last meeting about the cooling job market, telling reporters at his regular press conference following the FOMC, basically the meeting that took place last week. It's an interesting labor market, adding kids coming out of college and younger people, minorities are having a hard time finding jobs. Had a statistic come across my desk. I'd say Monday is where that was at, where they had said this is the highest unemployment rate for African Americans that we've had in quite some time. And that is in stark contrast to what we were dealing with previous Trump presidency, where African American unemployment was the lowest in history through the work and everything that had been on the focus there. So it's just another thing just to keep in mind. Like the job market has really just blown up here. Now there is some green shoots that are happening in the job market, where you have because of the business, there are businesses that are reinvesting. There are companies that are coming to do some manufacturing and production and that's happening. There's other aspects that are going to be helping up unemployment across the board too. with more and more as the ICE raids continue, and more illegal immigrants that are in the country as they leave and or are removed. That's more. I mean, it's just more opportunities for work that are going to pop up too. Like, that's all the things. So there are green shoots that are happening. So just be aware of that. Now, put in here, while recent months have been dubbed by Deutsche Bank as the summer AI turned ugly, some major studies find AI adoption disrupting some entry-level roles. Powell was less sure, maybe part of the story. That's kind of where I live at too. It is disrupting it, but it's not the whole story. And it says the main drivers are broadly slowed economy and hiring restraint. Top economists at Goldman Sachs and UBS tackled the subject soon after and found Powell to be mostly on the money. It isn't an AI story. And that is what I really wanted to bring to everyone's attention today on this. It's not just an AI story. People are hesitant to hire. And it has to do with the way that small businesses are looking and their feel, like in their internal feel that they have for how the actual economy looks. When people have a positive view on the economy, business owners do, they'll hire. They'll invest in their company. When they don't, they restrict. They're going to be restricting investments in, new equipment, but also in people. You can see that too. All right. So according to a Friday analysis by UBS chief Paul Donovan titled "The Kids Are All Right?" Spike in youth unemployment stands in stark contrast to global trends and cannot be blamed on artificial intelligence, despite the current fascination with automation in public debate. The U.S. labor market experience is peculiar. Young Euro area workers have a record low unemployment rate. UK young person's unemployment rate has fallen steadily. Employment participation by young Japanese workers is near all-time highs, and it seems highly implausible that AI uniquely hurts the employment prospects of younger workers. Something we've talked about here. And again, I go back to that. There is this tendency with business owners and with, frankly, with people in general, that they're going to be looking for the cause of whatever issue or situation they're dealing with. Like, they're going to be looking for that the cause. And most of the time, that's not the case. It's never going to be something like that. It's going to be many different causes that add up and end up with what we're dealing with. Okay. All right. Finding a job takes longer in a low turnover labor market. He argued that job reallocation, or the pace at which new jobs are created, exist, and ones are destroyed, has been on the decline since the 1990s. That's true, albeit more slowly as of late. And I would say that is not a accurate statement. I would say that it has been much, much slower as of late. There isn't a new jobs that are being created. What's happening is businesses are letting people leave and not rehiring and seeing what it looks like. That's what's occurring. Now, almost all job changes between existing jobs taking place as churn driving most of the variation in turnover since the Great Recession. Goldman found that in 2020, as of 2025, the churn was well below pre-pandemic levels, a broad-based pattern across industries and states, and this mostly falls on younger workers. In 2018, it took younger employee about 10 weeks to find a new job in low churn state. Now it's 12 weeks on average. So we're looking at 3 months to find work. They have some cool little charts to show that. Now, Donovan writes that it might be tempting to blame technology for the plight of Gen Z. And again, would-be entry-level worker. Machines, robots, or computers replacing humans is an ever-popular dystopian scenario. Yeah, that's true. We see that consistently. Now, Donovan concludes, similarly to Goldman Sachs, that U.S. pattern is more convincingly fits a broader hiring freeze narrative affecting new entrants into the workforce. Yes, 100%. What do we got here? This is not today, that's tomorrow. Okay. According to Donovan, this is also has the benefit of explaining the smaller impact on less educated workers with, let's see, sorry about that, with high school dropouts able to find full-time employment at a younger age than recent grads. So They likely found work before 2025 deep freeze set in. College enrollment also in a long-term secular decline. Trade employment is becoming increasingly popular with blue-collar entrepreneurs, some of whom find themselves earning six figures and calling themselves boss while their peers are settled with student loan debt. And that's now, I treat that idea that, I don't want to say this here. That idea of the entrepreneur, right? That going in the trades, becoming your boss and doing your thing. The myth, the mystique, and the mythology behind that is similar to what they talk about when it comes to like cowboys, or I say cowboys in general. Right? Back when the cowboys were a thing, it was this dream to go do. You could go do the thing, and now you're a cowboy living your life. When in reality, the likelihood of an individual getting a job and or going into the trades and then successfully creating their own side business, right? Dude in a truck with a ladder, that lasts longer than a couple of years isn't really that high. It's the same level of success that you see people who are excuse me, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Like with any other entrepreneur, it's any other type of business. There's always going to be those people who are success, and those are touted, and then everybody else who gives it a try and fails, nobody ever brings them up. And I spend a lot of time with entrepreneurs, and this is pretty much standard fare, is that the people are failing when they do this at the same rate opening any other business. Now, over the long run, recent college graduates are empirically hit the hardest during no fire, no hire periods. During the Great Recession, when entire industries froze hiring, college graduates between 07 and 11 were uniquely hit by a lack of open positions. Those graduates earned less than their counterparts who graduated during non-recessionary periods. Effects that persisted for 10 to 15 years. It was a long time, right? Now, implications for Gen Z and minority job seekers are severe. Experts warn of scarring effects, long-lasting damage to earnings, homeowner prospects, and wealth accumulation. History shows that starting a career during a downturn can result in lower wages and a steeper climb the economic ladder, which is what is supposed to happen during an economic decline. Everybody makes less money. Everyone is, not doing as well. Now, on Wednesday, Powell spoke of other factors reducing labor supply, such as harsher immigration measures, right? We talked about that. He also mentioned minorities having a harder time finding employment during the freeze. It's very, very low. Layoff begins to rise. There won't be a lot of hiring going on. The AI question remains open in the Fed chair's words, saying there's great uncertainty about the impact AI will have. And that's one of the bigger pieces. Okay. What happened here? It disappeared. Oh no. There we go. I'm back. Sorry. And that is one of the issues that we're just dealing with here, folks, is that no one really knows what's going on. And anyone, if anyone's telling you this is the sole reason, or this is the reason, like they put their finger on it saying this is why the job market sucks, they're incorrect. I can just tell you that they're going to be factually incorrect. They may be partially right, as in this is a contributing factor, but to say definitively like no, this is the problem, it just isn't right. And frankly, that shouldn't be something that they're dealing with. Okay, so that's nothing I would definitely have there. All right, there's that. I wanted to also bring this other one up too. This has also popped up on my feed today from Business Insider. If you're planning to quit your job, here's how to do it right. Okay, quitting your job the right way is important so you don't damage future employment prospects. Especially true in tight labor market we were talking about. And as much as it might feel good to rage quit, there's a better way, say career experts. And this is one of the things that I have talked with a number of young men and women over the years, right? I'm 46. I've been talking to people for decades on how to manage their emotions when it comes to their job prospects, because there's a couple things that are going to happen when you rage quit, right? You just throw up your hands and quit. One, it's probably the important piece here too. Because you quit, all right, guess what just happened? Unemployment isn't available to you. Two, there's business owners talk. I mean, I don't know why more people don't realize that. Business owners talk. Now, when you put in your resume, you say where you worked, and you say, honestly, that you left, or, and you're going to color it however you want to color it. When that business owner or that HR department calls back to your previous work, the standard fare is all you're going to do is confirm employment, right? That's all we, if anything, right? I mean, I've been in businesses where we don't do references or refer, like it's nothing. We just wouldn't do it, good, bad, or indifferent, officially from the company. So you see that with a lot of folks, a lot of businesses. But let's say for the ones that they do, they're going to call back and check. Do you really, if you quit and they say they're going to talk about the work that you did and how well you did, right? Do you really want your last thing to be just rage quitting? That's going to color the entire conversation, just because it didn't work out, right, at this employer for reasons, doesn't mean that it needs to end poorly on your part. You want to have a strategy about leaving and making sure stuff is ready to go. All right, so let's take a look here. Stein, who's in his early 50s, has had 31 jobs. Well, this conversation's already being annoying. Other than a handful of instances where he got canned, Stein has given notice a couple dozen times. That means he knows what it's like to leave an employer well and not so well. So disassociate your emotions from your actions. This is something I have not done well in my career, and I'm continuing to work on. Since Stein, CEO of Lima Careers, which offers coaching for landing six-figure jobs. I guess for 31, got this. I got my redhead my wife's walking by right now, so. I guess if you've you've had 31 jobs, I guess you know how to get hired. I guess that's really what it is. Most basic reason to do this, it says, the echoes that don't burn a bridge speech your parents delivered. It's fair. You very likely may come across several of these people that you work with in your future. And when you go through this, we're gonna cover a couple things here, but we don't want to quit on a bad day, right? If you're having a bad day at work, it's not the day to quit. You're going to see that from folks. Don't go off message when you want to leave your business. Just leave. It's okay. But you want to have a plan for it. That's one of the things that people aren't doing. And then last one here is don't throw bombs at an exit interview. Man, just because it didn't work out doesn't mean that you need to go throw stones at the folks that were just working for you. It's not helpful. If you don't want to do an exit interview, don't do one. You're not required to, right? So anyways, links to this is going to be in the description. I just kind of wanted to bring this up here in line with what we're seeing. If we're in this low churn job market, so if you are going to leave your work, it is more important probably than ever to make sure that when you are working and doing your thing within the business, and you want to leave, that you are managing your emotions, and you are looking at your quits and treating it with the same level of respect and planning and strategy that you do with your current work. Okay, so just treat it the same way. You're gonna be amazed at how much more successful you're gonna be, and just frankly, I think it's gonna be a better situation. So, all right, with that, hopefully I earned your subscription today, folks. Again, I come here live pretty consistently. I'm live pretty consistently. I do live shorts hosting. I also, obviously I do a lot of videos where they're pre-recorded, right? Recorded, just where I am sharing information I'm sharing with my clients. And that's really the big thing here, that if you'd like to, subscribe, I would appreciate it. And when you come here, we are going to discuss things that I discuss with my clients. And that's really what this channel is about. For you to be able to come in and learn and also interact and get some questions out to me about that may help you with your future career. All right. So take care, folks. I'll see you.